Let's get to your top story, and that's a micro tunneling expert. Chris Cooper has gone on to say that, the rescue operations all night have gone off very well. They've crossed 50 meters. It's now just a question of another 5 meters to go. We didn't have any sort of obstacle last night, is what he had to say. So it's looking very positive. And it's the rat miners that have been rapidly digging through the debris. Manual excavation of debris has been going on. A distance of just 5 meters is left as far as the 41 strand workers is concerned. And, the expert is also very hopeful and very positive as to the turn of events over the last night, saying everything has gone off positively. There weren't any obstacle, which is why they're hopeful that they'll manage getting the 41 trapped workers out today itself.
So they've gone very well last night. They've just crossed 50 meters. There's about, let's say it's about 5 or 6 meters to go. They're just putting another pipe in, so we're expecting some good results. We haven't had any obstacles last night, and it's looking very positive sometime today.
Colleague Ghazali joining us on the phone line. Ghazali, good news coming that there were no obstacles over the rescue operations which were carried out last night. The labourers are just 5 meters away according to experts, and this time around we are actually getting a timeline saying that maybe, they are very, very hopeful to get them out today itself.
Oh yes, since the government changed this strategy of putting in the manual labourers, the ones who are clearing the rubble manually, perhaps that has yielded results, and this has worked when all the machines have failed there. So it would be a great achievement if it's just 5 meters as the tunnel experts are claiming. And fortunately, if we don't hit any obstacle, then with the same speed, perhaps today itself we'll find all these 41 lives striped inside the tunnel to come out and see the light of the day.
So, take us through these rat hole miners that are at work, working round the clock, like the Prime Minister said, that no stone has been left unturned. Take us through, how many people are involved in this operation at the moment, and, now that we're just 5 meters away, what is the kind of distance that they've covered overnight?
See, it was all decided after the auger machine had stopped working, and it more than the time it took to clear the rubble by the auger machine, it was the time which it was taken to pull out the damaged part of the auger machine from the tunnel. And that is when all the plans got into activation, vertical drilling, and also they were creating blasts on the other side of the tunnel to create a hole and create a space for those construction workers to come out. But these rat miners, they were brought in. They're also called the building or tunnel experts as well, because they have an expertise of working in deep sewer areas, underground severages, and they are very efficient when it comes, because they are obviously working in the same conditions in multiple parts of the country. So that is when they were brought in, and they have done remarkably well in the last 24 hours since they were brought in. So if it is just 5 meters, which they're mentioning right now, and I'm sure that what the authorities are claiming, that they may not find any obstacle as of now, and even if they do, manually clearing the rubble will have more efficiency than the machine, because even if they find any obstacle, there will be enough chances to clear it without damaging themselves or any parts of the machine, which later becomes another obstacle.
Right, Ghazali, as we can see, look at the pace at which they're working, of course, around the clock, like the Prime Minister has been talking about, leaving no stone unturned. Take us through that landline that was established, and, they are speaking through that landline, speaking to doctors, all their requirements are being met. What kind of requirements, what kind of things have they been asking for? What are some of the conversations with the professional doctors that is taking place over the telephone?
Since November 21st, when that video emerged, when through endoscopy, a camera was mounted on it and sent near the location of the construction workers, since then there has been constant communication with those construction workers, different officials, either from the PMO or the Chief Minister himself, Union Minister of State, Mr. V.K. Singh. and other senior officials of the state government have been keeping in touch with the construction workers. They have, and fresh food is being supplied to them. And every now and then, even the progress of the tunneling operation is also shared with them. They're also, just to keep their morale high, they keep updating them that how far or how much distance is covered and how much is yet to be covered. So this is a good strategy to keep them motivated, because these are 41 men trapped there for the last more than 2 weeks without any light. And the initial days must have been very challenging for them as well, because initially the entire operation was being carried out just by the SDRF and one excavator machine. And while that machine was working, we remember that despite clearing the debris, more debris was falling back then. And that is when these big machines were brought in, thinking that within a day or two they will come out. But it got stretched for more than 2 weeks. And now this is the importance of the communication, that doctors, psychologists, NDRF people, they all keep talking to them, and through video they keep monitoring them as well, their body language or how they are behaving. And this is very important, because the moment they are rescued, and we pray that we hope that they're rescued today, or they're brought out of the tunnel today, that is when their initial medical examination will be carried out. So to just get an update and history of what has been going around in the last 2 weeks, proper communication has been established and they are under watch.
Right, Kasali, hoping that the rescue mission is completed sooner than later. There you can see those miners, the rat hole miners at work, manually trying to reach the 41 trapped workers who have now been, who have remained there inside for 17 days. And it's the last day of election campaigning in the state of Telangana, and NDTV spoke exclusively to BRS Working President K.T. Ramarao on the effect of carpet bombing by leaders from the Congress and the BJP and the Prime Minister's roadshow in Hyderabad, saying that stopping Raitu Bandhu won't hurt the BRS, is what KTR has gone on to say while speaking about Congress and how they haven't fulfilled their promises as far as Karnataka is concerned. Let's just listen in.
There's obviously a popular demand to see you as Chief Minister. Everywhere these demands come up saying KTR CM.
No. It's all our party workers. So obviously they're being nice to me and kind to me. That's all there is to it. Our Chief Minister is in the pink of his health, and I'm sure he can serve the state very capably for several more years. So I don't think there is any such need.
The Raitu Bandhu payments being stopped out, that would have been a psychological advantage that you would have got.
No, see, Raitu Bandhu we have already disbursed about 11 times. You know, the people of Telangana know for a fact that it is KCR who has delivered 73,000 crores to 70 lakh farmers. So it's nothing new for us. We have farmers with us because they know that this man is a farmer-friendly Chief Minister, and a number of initiatives that he has taken today have become shining examples for the rest of the country. So I am not too concerned about it.
Where you seeing that momentum that Karnataka is supposed to have brought, and that feeling that they fulfill the promises there, and that's why you stop their advertisements here?
Karnataka is a disaster because, you know, the Karnataka Chief Minister, the Karnataka Deputy and his Chief Minister were here, and they were talking about how they're providing 5 hours of electricity supply to their farming community. So in fact they've really helped us by coming in campaigning, and the Karnataka farmers in fact have taken it upon themselves to also come here and tell the people of Telangana, especially the farming community, that you know, they should not make the same mistake that Karnataka has done.
Okay, the last 2 days are left before voting.
Last 1 day. 2 days.
Okay, campaigning is 1 day, but voting is 2 days left for voting itself. Do dynamics change in this time, because everyone does say that the BRS has a very good machinery and their people are probably from outside the state?
You've seen the exuberance. You've seen the exuberance. Do you suppose we need to do anything beyond the ordinary because the people are with us? All this hype that has been created, all the nonsensical propaganda that's been manufactured, we'll see it on the 3rd of December, being nothing but manufactured hype and manufactured nuisance.
And you don't see a difference between the rural and the urban voters?
Absolutely not. You'll see it for yourself. I've travelled to 7 constituencies today, all rural, and now 2 constituencies here. I see the same emotion, same jubilance, same exuberance everywhere I go. So I don't suppose it's a phenomenon that is only confined. only confined to urban areas.
And in the city, is it largely a fight between the BJP and the BRS, with the Congress actually not doing too well?
No, in fact, I'd say that in about 85 seats across the state, the fight is between Congress and BRS. In about 15 to 20 seats, I think it's with BJP.
And you don't see this as a tri-cornered contest at all? If you're saying in some constituencies you're fighting the BJP, in some others you're fighting the Congress?
Most contests have become very bipolar. In fact, what's happening is the mood is crystallizing towards one or another. So I think it's mostly a two-faced contest, with BRS being the common element everywhere, and with Congress and BJP shifting positions on who wants to be the runner-up.
Okay, penultimate day, give me your final score. What I'll ask you this on 3rd of December.
88 plus. 88 plus.
You're doing better than the last time.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's a confident K.T. Ramarao. Whatever the factors and otherwise, the momentum that's been predicted, he's confident that his party is coming back with more number of seats than it did in 2018. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Guiding you the latest from Uttarakhand, and microtunneling expert Chris Cooper has gone on to say that everything went off very well last night as far as rescue operations are concerned. They've crossed a distance of 50 meters and now just about 5 meters are left as far as the rescue operations are concerned. They haven't encountered any sort of obstacles last night, and everything seems to be looking very positive. And because it's looking so positive, the tunneling expert has gone on to say that they expect to reach the workers today and get them out today itself. A team of 24 seasoned rat hole mining experts are involved in the manual drilling process and excavate a narrow passageway towards the trapped workers. This time, this is a very time-consuming task, and it has included a lot of people involved. But this also is involved in removing debris and creating a safe route for the rescue operations. Now, the workers are just 5 meters away as far as the experts on the ground have told us. We have my colleague Rishika joining us on the phone line. Rishika, manual drilling operations finally are paying the kind of results that we need. A ray of hope now with the experts finally giving a timeline.
Well, absolutely, Divya, there appears to be a ray of hope, but what we've learned from our 17-day coverage of this story is that, nothing is for certain. Even the last time when it was believed that a rescue is imminent, which was about 5 days ago, there was a last-minute hurdle that had actually, led to the suspension of the auger drilling machine operation, and then the rescuers were forced to look at a different strategy. What we are learning right now from our colleague Kishore Rawat, who is reporting on this story from ground zero, is that it's now a matter of time. We, in fact, have had one of the international tunneling experts, Chris Cooper, on record this morning in a soundbite to ANI saying that they have managed to make significant headway on this over the course of, the last night, where about 40 meters of drilling has, in fact, been completed. He has come on to record to say that they have only about 5 meters to go. So if everything goes as per plan, he is anticipating that this rescue, which is something that they've endeavored for the last fortnight, more than a fortnight, 17 days now, could be a matter of time. However, I'd just like to point out that there are many questions still that need to be asked of the authorities. Of how they were, multiple different strategies, multiple different machineries, multiple different experts who were actually called in. It did appear over the course of the last 17 days that even though rescuers were working round the clock, they did not have a definitive strategy in place, raising several questions on, the safety of workers in these tunnels and, of course, contingency plans. Divya?
Right, Rishika, we have Kishore with us, joining us from the ground, and the visuals on our screens are live visuals from inside the tunnel, and there you can see rescue workers, working round the clock, like Rishika was pointing out, something that the Prime Minister has also said, leaving no stone unturned. And of course, the mission is to get all those 41 trapped workers out safely. Kishore joining us from Uttarkashi. Kishore, take us through the difference in the modus of operandi. Now manual drilling has been adopted. क्या डिफरेंस है मैनुअल ड्रिलिंग का और जो मशीन्स वो लेके आए थे पहले? आप जरा बताइए कि कितना डिस्टेंस कवर कर लिया? एक्सपर्ट्स कह रहे हैं कि सिर्फ 5 मीटर रहते हैं।
बिल्कुल, ये आज 17वां दिन और बड़ा एक अपडेट है जिसमें जो मैनुअल ड्रिलिंग जिन्हें रेड माइनर्स कहा जाता है, उन्होंने बहुत तेजी से काम किया है। सबसे पहले जो ऑगर मशीन का हेड था जो सबसे आगे जो मट्टी को हटा रहा था वो फंस गया था। उसके बाद पूरी ऑगर मशीन का जो ब्लेड था उनको काटा गया, उसको हेड को काटा गया। उसके बाद ये रेड माइनर्स को जैसे ही एंट्री कराई गई, इन्होंने बहुत तेजी से काम किया और इन्होंने एक अंदर जाते हुए एक बात कही थी कि हम इनको बाहर लेके ही निकलेंगे। तो लगातार जो काम चल रहा था और अब यहाँ पर जो ऑफिशियल्स हैं उन्होंने एक जानकारी दी है कि करीबन 5 या 6 मीटर के करीब हम रह गए हैं। अगले जो 3 मीटर है, अगर हम मान के चले 3 मीटर या 3 मीटर की बात करें, वो थोड़ा उसको हर्डल्स ना आए, उसके बाद हम बहुत जल्दी से उनको अंदर एंटर कर जाएंगे। रेड माइनर्स जो बाहर आए उनसे हमारी बात हुई, उन्होंने कहा कि हम अभी काम कर रहे हैं और लगातार 3 शिफ्टों में काम कर रहे हैं और उम्मीद है कि हम आज ही इनको बाहर लेके निकलेंगे और लगातार काम चल रहा है। ये जो खबर जैसे ही अपडेट आया, यहाँ पे तमाम जो रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन टीमें हैं, एडीआरएफ है, एनडीआरएफ है, तमाम जो लोग हैं, उनका मूवमेंट टनल की तरफ बहुत जल्दी हो गया है। और एक पॉजिटिव चीज, क्योंकि लगातार 17 दिन हो गए थे और 17वां दिन चल रहा है और 9 तारीख से इनको ब्रेक थ्रूज मिलना शुरू हुए थे। उसके बाद से कुछ काम रुका, 2 दिन तक काम रुका रहा, लेकिन अब थोड़ा चीजें बदल रही है और शायद ये संभव जरूर है कि आज शाम तक ये लोग बाहर आ सकेंगे।
बिल्कुल, अगर आप बात करें इनिशियली जो ड्रिलिंग एफर्ट्स थे, दे वर कंडक्टेड यूजिंग, आप जैसे बता रहे थे, लार्ज ऑगर मशीन दैट गॉट स्टक इन द रबल ऑन फ्राइडे, प्रॉम्प्टिंग अथॉरिटीज टू लुक फॉर अल्टरनेटिव्स एज फार एज ड्रिलिंग इज कंसर्न. So vertical drilling from above the tunnel that had started, approximately 40% of the required 86 meter vertical drilling had been completed, but it's the rat miners who are working rapidly, digging through the debris, and that is what is working. Manual excavation of debris, covering that last mile distance, that distance of about 5 to 6 meters, like the experts are saying, is what is needed to get those 41 stranded workers out. किशोर, आप बताइए कितने लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं? जब ये रैट माइनर्स हैं, कितने लोग हैं जो इन्वॉल्व हैं और कितना टाइम लगता है अगर हम कहें 5 मीटर का डिस्टेंस कंप्लीट करने के लिए?
देखिए, ये लगभग 3 शिफ्ट में काम कर रहे हैं। पहली शिफ्ट में 12, फिर 7 और 5। ये 24 लोग 24 घंटे काम करेंगे। अब 24 घंटे इनको शाम तक हो जाएंगे और इनका मकसद है कि 41 लोगों को निकालने का। अगर काम करने की स्पीड बताएं तो लगभग 2 या 2.5 घंटे में ये 1 मीटर 1.5 मीटर कर रहे हैं। लेकिन अब जिस तरीके से जो मलबे का सिचुएशन है, जो मलबे का पूरा जो हालत है, वो ये मान रहे हैं कि 3 मीटर तक थोड़ा इनको तेजी से काम करना होगा। जो बाहर का मला यानी आउटर सरफेस है, वो इतना ज्यादा हार्ड नहीं है, ना ही उस पर इतना ज्यादा वेट है। उसको बहुत तेजी से वो ड्रिल कर देंगे, लेकिन अगले जो 3 मीटर है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है।
अच्छा, लेकिन जो रात की इनकी प्रोग्रेस रही है, जिनके बारे में वो बहुत पॉजिटिव रहे हैं, बिकॉज देयर वाज नो ऑब्स्टिकल्स लास्ट नाइट। अब ये भी बताइए, वो जो लैंडलाइन कनेक्शन उन्होंने बनाया है, कम्युनिकेशन ऑन है, सब ठीक है? उनकी क्या डिमांड्स रही हैं ओवर द लास्ट 24 आवर्स?
बेसिकली जो अंदर लोग फंसे उनको लगातार 6 इंच के पाइप से उनको खाना भेजा जा रहा था। उनको लगातार उनसे बातचीत की जा रही थी। लेकिन जो लैंडलाइन एक फोन लगाया गया है बीएसएनएल का, जिसमें उसने वहां से लोगों से बात कराई जा रही है और उन लोगों को खाना पीना और दवाइयां और उसको उनके साथ उनको मॉरली जो उनको मजबूत करने के लिए, सपोर्ट करने के लिए लगातार बातें की जा रही है, उनसे बात की जा रही है। डॉक्टर वहां पर मौजूद है। लेकिन ये जरूर है कि 17वां दिन है और बीच में कई बार उन्होंने इस बात की जाहिर इच्छा की और थोड़ी उम्मीद जताई है कि हमें जल्दी बाहर निकालें। थोड़ी उम्मीद जरूर टूटी है कई बार, लेकिन उनके परिवार वालों से बात करा के उनको हिम्मत जगाई है। शायद वो 17 दिन, आज क्योंकि आज 17वां दिन है और 16 दिन उन्होंने इसी चीज को लेकर, उम्मीद से लेकर कि वो कब बाहर आएंगे। और जो बाहर रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन टीमें लगी हुई है वो उनसे बातचीत कर रही थी, उनको भरोसा दिला रही थी कि वो जल्द उनको बाहर लेके निकलेंगे। अब चूंकि जिस तरीके से चीजें थोड़ी सी बदली है और यहाँ पर ये माना जा रहा है कि जो दूरी है उनसे वो बेहद कम रह गई है, लेकिन अभी भी वो एक एक फीट और एक एक इंच बहुत सोच समझकर और बहुत तरीके से काम कर रहे हैं। उन्हें पता है कि जैसे जैसे नजदीक आते हैं तो मुश्किलें ज्यादा बढ़ती है और इसमें ज्यादा जल्दी नहीं करनी है, लेकिन उनको बाहर निकालना है, ये उनको कंफर्म है। और बहुत कम दूरी के बाद अब वो तेजी से काम करने की स्थिति में है। और हो सकता है कि अगले 5-6 घंटे बाद ऑफिशियल कुछ कहने की स्थिति में आएंगे और ये जरूर बताएंगे कि हम कितना दूर है और कितनी जल्दी बाहर निकालेंगे।
किशोर, एक और बात बताइए, आपने चैलेंजेस की बात करी, वेदर के फ्रंट पे क्या चैलेंज है? फ्रीजिंग टेम्परेचर, बारिश की चांसेस हैं कि नहीं, उसके बारे में बताइए।
अभी तक पूरे ऑपरेशंस में मौसम ने साथ दिया है, लेकिन कल से थोड़ा मौसम बदला है। यहाँ से जहाँ पे सिलक्यारा टनल है वहां से 30-32 किलोमीटर दूर बरकोट है, वहां पे देर रात बारिश हुई थी, लेकिन यहाँ पे इस इलाके में बारिश नहीं हुई। बादल जरूर लगे हुए हैं, लेकिन जो टेम्परेचर है वो काफी नीचे है। इस वक्त का अगर टेम्परेचर की बात करें तो 4 डिग्री टेम्परेचर, हाईएस्ट जो गया वो 11। उस हाईएस्ट डिग्री टेम्परेचर में दिन में तो धूप निकल जा रही थी, लेकिन सुबह और शाम और देर रात लगातार जो काम कर रहे थे वो ठंड में काम करना है उनको, लेकिन लगातार यहाँ पर काम चल रहा है। और वो ये जानते हैं कि इस वक्त जो उनका मोटिव है, एक मकसद है, वो यही है कि इन लोगों को बाहर निकालना है। ठंड ने थोड़ा यहाँ पर दिक्कतें पैदा की है, लेकिन फिर भी लगातार ऑपरेशन चला है और यहाँ पर लगातार जो लोग 24 घंटे मौजूद है और लगातार काम कर रहे हैं।
जरा जो वर्कर्स के जो फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं जो बाहर हैं उनके बारे में बताइए। जो प्रेपरेशंस बनाई गई हैं, जब ये बाहर आएंगे, हम उम्मीद लगा के बैठे हैं कि वो आज बाहर आ जाएंगे, उसके बाद उन्होंने जो फील्ड हॉस्पिटल बनाया है उसके बारे में बताइए। जो मेकशिफ्ट हॉस्पिटल बनाया है 41 बेड्स का, उसके बारे में भी कुछ बताइए।
देखिए, टनल से लगभग 100 मीटर की दूरी पर जहां से ये अंदर फंसे और उससे बाहर एक हॉस्पिटल, टेम्परेरी हॉस्पिटल बनाया है। उस हॉस्पिटल में करीबन 6 बेड है। वो इसलिए बनाया गया कि किसी की अगर अंदर हालत खराब होती है, जो काम कर रहे हैं उनके लिए भी बनाया गया है, उनके लिए भी फैसिलिटीज रखी गई है, लेकिन जो अंदर लोग हैं उनके लिए ज्यादा ध्यान रखा गया है। अगर कोई दिक्कत आती है, उनको कोई परेशानी आती है, तो इस हॉस्पिटल में उनका इलाज किया जाएगा। उसके बाद जो 41 एम्बुलेंस है उनको तैयार रखने के निर्देश दिए गए। वो हाई अलर्ट पे है जब से ऑपरेशन चला है, लेकिन बीच में जिस तरीके से कुछ दिन पहले ये माना जा रहा था कि इनको जल्दी से बाहर निकाला जाएगा और निकलने की पोजीशन में आ चुके हैं ये, लेकिन उसके बाद थोड़ा ऑपरेशन डिले हुआ। लेकिन फिर भी पूरे जो मेडिकल इक्विपमेंट को लेकर एसडीआरएफ, एनडीआरएफ वो पूरी अपनी तैयारियों पे है और लगातार रोज हर बार वो रिहर्सल करते हैं और अलर्ट पर रहते हैं। इसके अलावा यहाँ से लगभग 40 किलोमीटर 1 घंटे की दूरी पर सिन्याली वार्ड एक जगह है, वहां पर 41 बेड का एक स्पेशल वार्ड बनाया गया है और जो लोकल हॉस्पिटल है, उनका कम्युनिटी हॉस्पिटल है, वहां पर तैयारियां की गई। वहां पर आईटीबीपी और स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर वहां पे रखे गए। देहरादून, इसके अलावा ऋषिकेश और अन्य जगहों से भी स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर मंगाए गए कि किसी को भी कोई दिक्कत होती है उसका स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर यहाँ पे मौजूद रहना चाहिए। वहां से 1 किलोमीटर, उस हॉस्पिटल से लगभग 1 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर एयर स्ट्रिप है, वहां पर हेलीकॉप्टर्स को स्टैंड बाय में रखा गया है। सिलक्यारा टनल से भी 5 किलोमीटर दूरी पर एक हेलीपैड बनाया गया है कि अगर कोई इमरजेंसी आती है, इन द केस कोई इमरजेंसी आती है और उनको अगर ऋषिकेश या कहीं अन्य जगहों पे ले जाना है तो वहां पर भी एक हेलीपैड बनाया गया है। तो लगभग आसपास के इलाकों को 40-45 किलोमीटर के पूरे इलाके को हाई अलर्ट पे रखा गया है। जब इनको बाहर निकाला जाएगा, ये जब भी बाहर निकालेंगे तो पूरा इलाका ग्रीन जोन में कर दिया जाएगा। किसी भी प्राइवेट और पब्लिक व्हीकल्स को नहीं आने दिया जाएगा। लगभग 1 से 2 घंटे तक व्हीकल्स के आने जाने की पूरी मनाही है।
बिल्कुल, आप जिस स्पीड की बात कर रहे थे, हमारे विजुअल्स जो हमारे स्क्रीन पे हैं, किस स्पीड से ये रैट माइन वर्कर्स जो काम कर रहे हैं, इट इज वेरी वेरी इट्स एब्सोल्युटली राउंड द क्लॉक। दोज विजुअल्स ऑन योर स्क्रीन एज यू कैन सी ऑफ the authorities there taking stock of the situation there. We are expecting good news to come about because the experts are saying it's just a matter of time. It's just a distance of about 5 meters that's left before the 41 laborers can perhaps come out finally. We'll get you the latest on the other side of a very short break. Welcome back. Let's get you the latest from Uttarakhand. And micro-tunnelling expert Chris Cooper has gone on to say that everything went off pretty well last night as far as the rescue operations are concerned. They've managed to cover a distance of 50 meters. Those are live visuals on your screen at the moment from outside the tunnel and inside the tunnel, that as you can see. There were no sort of obstacles last night and everything is looking very positive, which is why the expert Chris Cooper has gone on to say that it could be today itself that the workers will manage coming out. A team of 24 seasoned rat hole mining experts are involved in the manual drilling, and everything so far has been positive. They are just hoping and very hopeful and very positive of the last 5 meters that are left before they can reach the 41 trapped workers. Let's just listen in to Chris Cooper.
So they've gone very well last night. They've just crossed 50 meters. There's about, let's say it's about 5 or 6 meters to go. They're just putting another pipe in, so we're expecting some good results. We haven't had any obstacles last night, and it's looking very positive sometime today.
So a team of 24 seasoned rat hole mining experts involved in the manual drilling process have managed to cover most of the distance, and only 5 meters are left. To remember that the manual drilling started just yesterday. It will be 24 hours by this evening. This is what was needed. So they have been changing course over time. Do remember that auger machine that stopped working, that was on Friday. And since then, over the weekend from Saturday, the experts were saying it will take about 2 to 3 days before they can reach the trapped laborers. And they did in the meantime establish a landline link as well. They have been talking to doctors for 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, speaking with them, talking about the kind of issues at hand. Fortunately, there is electricity, as you can tell, there is electricity, there is water supply, oxygen, medicine, food, everything is being supplied. The families are very hopeful who are waiting outside. We were expecting them to come out on Thursday last week, and that process has been delayed due to the auger machine which stopped working. The drilling efforts were conducted using that large machine that got stuck in the rubble on Friday, prompting authorities to look for alternatives. So the alternative methods that were adopted included vertical drilling from above the tunnel. Approximately 40% of the required 86 meters vertical drilling had been completed. But now the last 50 meters from yesterday, from last night in the evening, rat miners rapidly have been digging through the debris, and manual excavation of the debris has been going on. Now what they are saying, the experts who earlier could not give a time frame, who kept saying they are working against time, they don't know how long it will take, finally coming out with a word saying that it could happen today itself. So we have my colleague Kishore Rawat joining us from the ground to get us a sense of what the situation is like. Kishore, finally good news, a word coming out of the experts from the authorities saying that today itself, आज ही के आज वो workers बाहर निकल सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल आज उम्मीद जताई जा रही है कि वो जो 41 जिंदगियां हैं टनल में पिछले 17 दिनों से फंसी है, यानी आज 17वां दिन है, लगातार वो फंसी हुई है, उनको बाहर आने की उम्मीद है, क्योंकि जो फासला है उनसे वो 5 या 6 मीटर के लगभग रह गया है। क्योंकि ये ऑफिशियल्स ने जो जानकारी दी है कि जो रैट माइनर्स है उन्होंने बहुत तेजी से काम किया है। जहां पे ऑगर मशीन का काम रुक गया था, जो हेड फंस गया था, उसके बाद उनको वहां पर भेजा गया। उससे पहले जो हेड काटा गया, मशीन के ब्लेड्स काटे गए और तेजी से पाइप को पुश किया गया। वहां पर वो तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं। और आज चूंकि जो एक्टिविटी है थोड़ी यहाँ पे चेंज हुई है, जिस तरीके से जैसे ये चीजें सामने आई कि बहुत तेजी से काम चल रहा है और बहुत कम दूरी रह गई 41 लोगों की, तो ये माना जा सकता है और ये उम्मीद जरूर है कि यहाँ वो 41 जिंदगियां इस टनल के सामने से, ये जो टनल है इसके सामने से वो निकलते हुए सारी दुनिया को देखेगी, जो लगातार ये सोच रहे थे कि कब बाहर आएंगे, उनकी क्या हालत होगी, कैसे होंगे, उनको अंदर कैसे रह रहे होंगे, तो वो यहाँ से बाहर आएंगे। इसको लेकर पूरी तैयारियां लगातार चल रही है। मुख्यमंत्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी भी यहां पर मातली पहुंचने वाले उत्तरकाशी, और उसके बाद वो एक एक चीज पर नजर बनाए बैठे हैं। केंद्रीय राज्य मंत्री वीके सिंह भी यहां पर कैंप किए हुए हैं। उसके अलावा प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय की जो टीमें हैं, उनके डेलीगेट्स है, वो भी यहां पर मौजूद है। कल ही पीके मिश्रा जो प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी है प्रधानमंत्री के, वो भी यहां पहुंचे थे। उन्होंने एक एक चीज जानकारी ली, ऑपरेशन की जानकारी ली, किस तेजी से है। तो जो और इसके अलावा जो रैट माइनर्स है उन्होंने बहुत बेहतरीन तेजी से काम किया है। और जिस तरीके से हमारी बात हुई है, उन्होंने कहा कि हम जब अंदर गए थे तो हमने ये बात कही थी कि वो बाहर उनको लेके ही निकलेंगे। तो वो लगातार तेजी से बढ़ रहे हैं और तेजी से काम कर रहे हैं। 3 शिफ्ट में काम कर रहे हैं, 12, 7, 5, यानी 12 पहले मजदूर रहेंगे, फिर 7 रहेंगे, फिर 5 रहेंगे। तो ये सारी चीजें अपने आप में एक पॉजिटिव मैसेज देती है। और अभी थोड़ी देर पहले वो बाहर आए, हमने उनसे बात करी तो उन्होंने कहा कि दोपहर बाद या शाम तक एक अच्छी खबर मिल सकती है। अगर कोई बीच में लोहे का सरिया सरिया, क्योंकि अभी रात को बता रहे थे कि एक जाल आया था, लोहे का सरिया था, उसे काटने में थोड़ा टाइम लग गया, उसको तेजी से काम हो रहा है। अगर कोई बड़ा हडल्स नहीं आया, कोई तेजी से जिस तरीके से काम चल रहा है वो आगे बढ़ता रहेगा। उम्मीद ये की जा रही है कि अब जो स्टील के रॉड्स है वो ना आए और बड़ी कोई चट्टान ना आए। जो 5 या 6 मीटर है उसमें 3 मीटर बड़ा, थोड़ा सा ये उम्मीद की जा रही है कि ये 3 मीटर पार हो जाएगा। उसके बाद जो बाहर का सरफेस है, जो मलबे का सरफेस है, उसमें इतना वेट नहीं होगा, उसे बहुत तेजी से वो आगे ड्रिल कर लेंगे। तो ये सारी चीजें एक मैसेज, पॉजिटिव मैसेज अंदर से आ रहा है। लोग जो बाहर आ रहे हैं बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट है। रेड माइनर्स जो आए थे वो भी बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट है कि हम तेजी से उनके पास पहुंचेंगे और 41 जिंदगियों को आज बाहर ला सकेंगे। जी
किशोर, कल शाम को ये रैट माइनर्स ने अपना काम शुरू किया है, कितने बजे से शुरू किया है, कितना डिस्टेंस इन्होंने रात भर जुटा पाए हैं?
लगभग 6:30 बजे ऑफिशियल्स ने पीसी की थी और उससे पहले उन्होंने जानकारी दे दी, यानी ऑफिशियल अंदर गए, उन्होंने जानकारी ली किस तरीके से काम चल रहा है। तो लगभग हम ओवरऑल अगर मान के चले तो शाम को 4 बजे या 4:30 बजे के करीब में मान के सकते हैं काम कर रहे हैं। और वो अंदर गए और जब प्रधानमंत्री के प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी आए थे उस समय वो लोग अंदर जा रहे थे, हालांकि उसमें ऑफिशियल्स थे तो वो थोड़ा रुके। उसके बाद एक जो सबसे बड़ा दिक्कत आ रही थी कि ऑगर मशीन का ब्लेड के आगे जो हेड होता है, जो मट्टी को काटता है, जो आगे चलता है, वो फंस गया था उसमें और उसी को काटने में थोड़ा समय लग गया। लेकिन रात भर काम चला है। हम यहाँ पर खुद करीबन 12:30 बजे और 3 बजे यहाँ पर देखे गए थे, लगातार काम चल रहा था। उम्मीद ये की जा रही थी कि ये रेड माइनर्स जिस तरीके से काम कर रहे हैं तो वो उस तरीके से उन लोगों को बाहर निकालने के लिए जो उनकी स्पीड है वो और तेज होगी और उसी के मुताबिक ये लगातार काम कर रहे हैं। और उम्मीद ये की जा रही है कि आज शाम तक या दोपहर बाद कोई अच्छी खबर मिलेगी। लेकिन अब ऑफिशियल्स आएंगे, ऑफिशियल इस बार की जानकारी लेंगे, बताएंगे। और जिस तरीके से ऑफिशियल कल आए थे उनकी बॉडी लैंग्वेज थोड़ी सी अलग थी, उन्होंने अच्छी खबर के साथ आए थे, उनके चेहरे बता रहे थे कि हम बहुत अच्छी तरीके से काम कर रहे हैं, हम कामयाब होने वाले हैं, लेकिन थोड़ा इंतजार जरूर करना होगा। अब पूरे इस मामले को देख, आज की अगर बात करें मैं तो अब ऑफिशियल्स आएंगे, वही थोड़ी जानकारी देंगे। लेकिन जिस तरीके से फॉरेन डेलीगेट्स क्रिस हुपर ने बताया कि अच्छा काम चल रहा है, 5 या 6 मीटर के करीब हम रह गए हैं और उनको जल्दी पूरा कर लिया जाएगा। और वो 41 जिंदगियां जिस बात का इंतजार वो और उनके परिवार वाले कर रहे थे, उसके बाद यहाँ पे रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन और तमाम यहाँ जर्नलिस्ट आ गए थे, वो इस बात का इंतजार कर रहे थे कब हारेंगे बाहर। तो हो सकता है कि आज शाम तक वो बाहर आ जाएं।
किशोर, कितनी टीम्स इन्वॉल्व हैं? हम जानते हैं 24 राइट माइनर्स आर इन्वॉल्व, बट बाकी टीम जो जुड़ी हुई हैं इन रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस, बाहर से कितनी टीम्स आई हुई हैं? क्रिस कूपर ने हमें बताया सब कुछ पॉजिटिव लग रहा है इस वक्त। आर्नल्ड डिक्स भी इन्वॉल्व हैं जो हमसे लगातार बात कर चुके हैं। और कौन कौन लोग हैं जो इस रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस में इन्वॉल्व हैं?
देखिए, रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन जब शुरुआत हुई थी तो पहले जो कंपनीज के लोग यहाँ पर जो काम कर रही है कंपनी, उनको लगा था कि वो कर लेंगे, लेकिन ये बड़ा ही टफ हो रहा था क्योंकि तेजी से मलबा आ रहा था। अब ऐसे में यहाँ पर एक आदमी से, यानी एक यूनिट से काम नहीं हो रहा था। यहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोग आए, उसमें NDRF, SDRF, पुलिस है, इसके अलावा प्रशासन है, इसके अलावा आर्मी की इंजीनियरिंग विंग को भी यहाँ पे स्टैंड बाय में रखा गया था। ONGC है, सतलुज जल विद्युत निगम लिमिटेड है, इसके अलावा TSC है, रेल विकास निगम है जो ऋषिकेश कंटक रेल लाइन बना रही है, PWD है, जल संस्थान है, पेयजल संस्थान है जो उत्तराखंड की सरकार के है, इसके अलावा ONGC यहाँ पे काम कर रही है। लगातार यहाँ पे काफी बड़ी एजेंसियां काम कर रही थी। NHI है, नेशनल हाईवे अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया है, यहाँ पर काम कर रही थी। NHPC के यहाँ पे लोगों से मदद ली गई, वो भी डैम्स और टनल्स बनाते हैं। NHPC वो भी भारत सरकार की नवरत्न कंपनियों में है। ये सारे जो लोग थे, इवन की जो इंटरनेशनल टनल जो एसोसिएशन है उसके लोगों से भी सलाह ली जा रही थी कि किस तरीके से काम होगा। तो ओवरऑल एक पूरी यूनिट बनाई गई, किस तरीके से सबको सलाह ली गई, लगातार काम किया जा रहा था। खुद भारत सरकार इसमें इन्वॉल्व थी, भारत सरकार के जो डेलीगेट्स थे वो लगातार इस बात को बात कर रहे थे कि किस तेजी से काम होना है। तो लगभग अगर हम ओवरऑल देखा जाए तो यहाँ पर काफी सारे लोग काम कर रहे थे, काफी बड़ा ऑपरेशन चल रहा था। यहाँ पे एक सबसे बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका जो वर्कर्स है, एक वो इंजीनियर्स और इसके अलावा जो बड़ी बड़ी मशीन लाने वाले ट्रक ड्राइवर्स है, उनकी भी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका थी। लगातार रात भर वो बिना थके बिना सोए लगातार चले। उनका एक मकसद था कि जो मशीन्स है वो उनको वहां पहुंचानी है, क्योंकि ये मशीन बेहद इंपॉर्टेंट है उन 41 लोगों के लिए। तो लगातार यहाँ पे काम चल रहा था। ठीक ऊपर अगर बात करें तो वहां पर ड्रिल मशीन काम कर रही है। ये पूरा बीआरओ इसमें भी शामिल था, एक नाम और लूंगा बीआरओ, वो भी इसमें शामिल था। मौसम की थोड़ा यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर काफी डाउन है। रात भर यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर 4 डिग्री 3 डिग्री तक पहुंच जा रहा था। इसके अलावा दिन का अगर टेम्परेचर अगला दिन का टेम्परेचर तक वो भी 11 डिग्री तक जा रहा था। तो सर्दी भी मौसम थी, टेम्परेचर भी डाउन था, लेकिन लगातार काम किया जा रहा था और ऑपरेशन को आगे बढ़ाया जा रहा था। जी
किशोर, मौसम के फ्रंट पे बस जाते जाते ये बता दीजिए, बारिश की तो संभावना नहीं है?
फिलहाल अभी बारिश की संभावना नहीं है। मौसम बादल जरूर लगे हैं और अभी फिलहाल जो प्रेडिक्शन है उसमें हल्की बौछार हो सकती है, लेकिन अभी जिस जगह पे टनल है और जिस जगह पे हम मौजूद हैं वहां पर अभी फिलहाल बारिश नहीं है, लेकिन बादल लग चुके हैं। अभी धूप नहीं आई है, अक्सर इस वक्त तक धूप आ जाती थी, लेकिन टेम्परेचर डाउन है। जो ठंड है वो थोड़ी दिक्कत कर रही है काम करने में, लेकिन बारिश का अभी फिलहाल कोई संभावना नहीं है। हो सकता है कि देर शाम बारिश हो।
Right, Kishore Rawat reporting from outside the tunnel in Uttarkashi. We will keep getting you more updates. Thank you so much for getting us all those details. Good news, ray of hope with the experts there now saying just 5 meters are left to reach the 41 trapped workers. Moving on to more news now, the Election Commission has stopped Karnataka government advertisements in the newspapers of Telangana. The poll panel has said that the ads were in violation of the model code, and the action came after BJP's complaint that said that the Congress government in Karnataka has been putting out ads in the media of Telangana with an eye on the assembly polls in the state. My colleague Uma joins us on the phone line. Uma, action taken after the BJP complained to the EC against the ads in Telangana.
Yes, indeed. It's interesting that this time round in Telangana, it's the shadow of Karnataka that's looming large because the Congress has spoken about Karnataka as the role model in a sense, saying that, see, we implemented the guarantees in Karnataka, 5 guarantees in Karnataka, and we are now going to implement 6 guarantees and promises that we have made to the people of Telangana. Both the BRS as well as the BJP have actually complained, and the contention of the BRS has been that the Congress has been unable to fulfill its promises there. Both the BJP and the BRS are saying that, and they want to showcase it in some manner or the other. In fact, they even brought a group of farmers from there to talk about the power situation in Karnataka and saying that they have not received power as promised by the Congress government in Karnataka. So this war of words has been going on between the Congress and the BRS and BJP on the one side and Congress on the other. And these advertisements that were released by the government of Karnataka in the newspapers here, all the main newspapers in fact have been carrying about how they have fulfilled those promises, and therefore that's the thing that's brought to the attention of the Election Commission, which said that no prior permission was taken for these advertisements, and therefore it violated the model code of conduct, and therefore they were asked to explain before evening today, 5 p.m. today, which would actually be even the end of campaigning. They were supposed to explain why this was done and how this happened, because it violates the model code of conduct.
Right. Thank you so much, Uma, for getting us all those details. Moving on now, after initial approval, the Election Commission has withdrawn its nod for KCR government's Raitu Bandhu scheme, a farmers' aid scheme in Telangana. This, as the poll panel said, that it violates the model code of conduct. The EC order also has triggered a face-off between the BRS and the Congress.
3 తారీఖు తర్వాత మళ్ళా ఉండేది మా కేసీఆర్. 3 తారీఖు తర్వాత మళ్ళా రైతు బంధు పైసలు టింగు టింగు టింగున మా అకౌంట్లలో పడతాయి.
It is after this speech by BRS Minister Harish Rao that the Election Commission decided to stop the disbursal of money to farmers under the Raitu Bandhu direct cash transfer scheme, saying it violated conditions laid down by the Commission.
నిన్న మళ్ళా కాంగ్రెస్ మళ్ళా ఢిల్లీకి పోయి మళ్ళా షికాయత్ చేసి మళ్ళా రైతు బంధు ఆపేసిన. రైతు బంధు ఆగితే వాళ్ళకి ఓట్లు వస్తాయి అనుకుంటున్నారు. ఎన్ని రోజులు ఆపుతావు నువ్వు? ఈ కాంగ్రెస్లో ఎన్ని రోజులు ఆపుతారు? 3 తారీఖు ఓట్లు లెక్క పడితే మళ్ళీ మన గవర్నమెంటే వస్తుంది. బ్రహ్మాండంగా 6వ తారీఖు నుంచి మరి సంతోషంగా ఇచ్చుకుంటాం, ఎవరి మోతాదు లేకుండా.
The Congress has reason to be elated or at least relieved. In 2018, disbursal was allowed even during voting, and Congress leaders suspect it gave the ruling party an edge.
In 2018, before 3-4 days before the polling, you put the money in the account in the name of Rais Bandhu. We can't stop that because farmers issue. So that at the polling day also in my constituency, in Nalgonda, where I won 4 terms, then not winning 4 terms consecutively. Polling day also 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh. That is the second time.
While BRS leaders called Congress anti-farmer, Telangana Congress chief Revanth Reddy blamed the ruling party.
రైతు బంధు ఎప్పుడో మేము రైతుల ఖాతాలో వేయాలని కేంద్ర ఎన్నికల సంఘానికి విజ్ఞప్తి చేసినాం. కానీ కేంద్ర ఎన్నికల సంఘం నిన్నగాక మొన్న అనుమతిస్తే అల్లుడు హరీష్ రావు మామ చంద్రశేఖర్ రావు ఈ పథకాన్ని అడ్డం పెట్టి ఓట్లు దండుకోవాలని కుట్ర చేసి ఈ రోజు ఏం జరిగిందో హరీష్ రావు నోటి దుల వల్ల చంద్రశేఖర్ రావు రాజకీయ అతి తెలివితేటల వల్ల ఇవాళ రైతుల ఖాతాలో పడేయాల్సిన 5,000 కోట్ల రూపాయల రైతు బంధు పథకం అర్ధాంతరంగా ఆగిపోయింది.
So Raitu Bandhu is an ongoing scheme of the BRS government for the last 5.5 years. About 66 lakh farmers have been paid out 72,000 crore rupees. Every year, twice a year, the money is paid out. And in the Rabi season, the money is usually paid out between October and January. The BRS has now written to the Election Commission asking for its last order to be withdrawn, saying no conditions were violated and farmers would suffer if there is a delay. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
And today is the last day of election campaigning in the state of Telangana. We'll get you all the details on the other side of the shot. Breaking news coming in, another suicide case, a student suicide in Kota. NEET aspirant dies by suicide in Kota. The student was from West Bengal and he hung himself in Kota. So yet another case of suicide that's coming to light. This is a NEET aspirant who has died by suicide in Kota. So breaking news coming in at the moment regarding another suicide that has now come to light in Kota under pressure of this is a student from West Bengal who has died by hanging himself in Kota. Switching tracks, IIT Madras professor has been suspended over student suicide. PhD scholar died by suicide in March, and now there was in fact a status update on his mobile phone back in March which said, "Sorry, I am not good enough." The student's family had accused the professor of inhuman treatment. To get more on this, we have my colleague Sam joining us. Sam, apparently other students have confirmed harassment by the professor, and that is what has led to his suspension.
That's right. To begin with, Divya, the IIT Madras administration has suspended Professor Ashish Sen from the Mechanical Engineering Department following a direction by the Board of Governors of IIT Madras. The student, a research scholar actually, was found dead at his private residence on the 31st of March earlier this year. At that time, there was no immediate clue, but the only clue the police could get was his WhatsApp status that said, "Sorry, I'm not good enough." And they immediately suspected it could be a case of suicide. And later, investigation also confirmed that IIT Madras had formed a committee under retired IPS officer Tilakavati to inquire into this death by suicide. Based on their recommendation, now the IIT Madras has suspended Professor Ashish Sen, and they say all procedures were followed. The professor himself is yet to comment, but the student body has welcomed this, saying it's a victory for the protest by students seeking justice for the death of the research scholar. It's a worrying trend in many IITs across India. The death by suicides, and IIT Madras ranks number 1 in that sense, a dubious distinction. 4 suicides in 3 months earlier this year and 6 in less than 2 years. Authorities say they put a student wellness program in place to make sure students do not remain in stress, and faculty can address any instances of stress or depression.
Right, Sam, thank you so much for joining us with those details. Now, on the final day of the Israel-Hamas truce, Qatar Foreign Ministry announced that the truce will be extended by another 2 days. This as both Israel and Hamas try to work out a tricky hostage swap deal. Remember, Qatar is one of the key mediators between both sides. And on the 4th day of the truce, 11 Israeli hostages, including 3-year-old twins, were freed by Hamas, bringing the total number of released hostages to more than 50. In exchange for 33 Palestinians were released from the Israeli prisons, reportedly included 30 children and 3 women. The release brought the total number of detainees freed by Israel during the initial 4-day pause in the fighting to 150. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will be paying his 3rd wartime visit to the Middle East. He will be taking stock of the situation as the mediators announced an extension of that truce. And United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres said it's a glimpse of hope and humanity in the middle of the darkness of war.
The ceasefire has been extended by 2 more days. What that means is that there will be no fighting for 2 days, and an additional 20 hostages will be released, 10 per day. This was announced by Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs on Monday, which said that both sides, Israel and Hamas, agreed to the terms of this deal. So far, there have been 58 hostages released, among them 39 Israelis. There is expected to be an additional 11 hostages released on Monday and 33 Palestinian prisoners. But there are still estimated to be about 175 hostages that remain in Gaza. There has been a mix of emotions during this 4-day truce while there has been hostages released and prisoners released. In Israel, people have lined the streets welcoming the hostages home. Families have had emotional reunifications at hospitals. Staff at the hospitals have said for the most part people are in good condition. There was one girl who was shot in the leg and required surgery. An elderly woman was in very critical condition and had to be rushed immediately to the hospital. Families whose hostages still remain say that it's bittersweet for them, and they are putting increasing pressure on the government to make sure that they continue to get their people out. On the Palestinian side, people were honking in the streets and rejoicing. A lot of the prisoners who were released were teenagers and women who had been held by Israel for minor offenses such as throwing stones or disturbing the public peace. Now, however long this ceasefire continues to go on for, Israel has made it very clear that once it is over, they are going to continue the war effort. They are going to go into Gaza. They say their aims are to eradicate Hamas and to make sure that all the hostages are returned.